Hey guys, it's Dana and it's time to talk about money. And in this video, I want to talk about the things that I actually do that help us to save money. So let's get to it. Okay, so last week we talked about the things that I refuse to do or don't do. And so this week we're going to talk about the things that I actually do in order to help us to live a more frugal life. Now, if you're new here, my name is Dana, and on my channel, we talk all about how to live a debt-free lifestyle, how to get out of debt, and then share some frugal living tips to make your life more simple and so that you have financial freedom. So let's start off with the first one, which is I cook at home a lot. And basically that means I think I eat out maybe once or twice a year. Sometimes we do order a pizza, but we usually try to take advantage of like rewards or sometimes there's sales. Like if we have purchased a certain number of pizzas, we get a free pizza, but like that's like rare. So usually we always cook at home. All of our meals we purchase from the grocery store, and that's how we eat. We have a family of 6. There's a lot of us, so eating out would be very expensive. So in order to save money, we almost always cook at home, almost everything. And I actually prefer that. I feel like it helps me to stay healthier. And sometimes I get kind of grossed out by kitchens at restaurants. I don't know what's happening back there. I've watched a lot of TV shows where there's some nasty business. And so I kind of feel like at least this way I know what's happening in my kitchen. And because I don't eat meat, we don't eat a lot of meat, I just feel like I don't have to worry about bacteria and things that go along with raw meat. I saw some show once where they did like the black light in the kitchen after someone had prepared a bunch of, I don't know, like ground turkey or something. They were like regular people just making a regular meal, and they tried to keep everything clean, wiped everything down, but afterwards they did like a black light around the kitchen. It was kind of horrifying, what they showed in that. Anyway, so at least in my kitchen, I know what's going on. I can scrub it down. I can check it with a black light if I want to. So we cook at home, and it saves us a lot of money. Next is I grow food at home from gardening. I love potatoes. If you've been watching me a while, I at one time did an entire potato diet, but potatoes are like the easiest thing to grow. And so I like to grow potatoes, also blackberries. I have a strawberry bed. We eat a lot of strawberries. So I like to garden, and it can get expensive. Don't get me wrong, gardening. But once you have your everything established year after year, it's very easy. But we do grow food at home, and I like to garden. I like to read, and I like to read a lot, but I don't buy books. I never buy books. Number one, it just clutters up the house, and I don't want actual books around anymore. It is so much easier to get them digitally, and I use Libby, the Libby app, the library app, so I can link up my library card, and I can just check out books that way, or audiobooks. I listen to a lot of audiobooks, and so that way I'm able to consume a lot of content without actually having to pay a dime. So a lot of my entertainment is consumed that way, entertainment in the forms of books and audiobooks, and in addition to podcasts, which are often free of charge. So that is how I find my entertainment. Next is I rewear things. I rewear things until they have holes in them, until they rip, until just like my cars. I drive my cars until they fall apart. Same thing with clothes. I wear my clothes, my shoes. I think, I buy one pair of new shoes a year, maybe. I wear my shoes until they also completely lose all their tread. I wear things out. And I wear the same things, and I just keep it simple. And that saves me a lot of money because I'm not out shopping constantly. And as I've talked about before, when I do buy new clothes, a lot of times it is from thrift stores. I talked about that in my last video, how I don't buy new clothes. But I always do wear my clothes until they literally fall apart, or the zippers break and I can't zip it anymore, and then I'm sad and I get rid of it. Next is I keep convenience spending to a minimum. So I do, make sure that I pre-plan if we're going to be going to a convenience store. So yes, we like Wawa. We live in the Philadelphia area, and when the kids, when they're in tennis lessons, then like they once in a while want to go to Wawa after for a hoagie. But we do make sure that it is budgeted and that it is planned out. It is not something that is random or just, all of a sudden we just pull in there. I always make sure that it's something that we have pre-planned and that we've got in our budget. So I do keep convenience spending to a minimum. Next is I make home the default. So we are homebodies, luckily, my husband and I, and then the kids. I've got kind of super nerdy children, which is wonderful. Especially my oldest, who on the weekends she spends all weekend almost doing homework when she's not exercising, doing her sports. So she likes to be on her laptop almost always working on assignments, which is wonderful in a way. But we do have fun, but we do like to be at home. Like we enjoy playing board games, Uno, and just I work in the garden a lot, in the yard, and I prefer to be at home. I feel like when I'm not home, I feel drained. When I go out and do things with other people, again, this is a personality thing, but if I'm around a lot of people or I'm not home, I tend to come back and I just feel really exhausted. So I enjoy being at home. Home is the default, and that way that does save us a lot of money because we're not always out and about trying to look for another external source of entertainment. However, when I do go out, I do batch errands together because I don't like driving. I don't like really being in the car at all, and also gas is expensive. So if I do have to go out, then I try to combine trips. So for example, if I am going to pick up the kids from school from an activity and the car needs gas, I will combine that where I'll stop at the gas station and then go pick them up. So anytime I have to go somewhere, I try to, group trips together. So if I have to drop them off at an activity and there happens to be like a Lowe's there and I need something, I'll try to go while they're in their activity because it's close. I don't like driving from one side of town all the way to the other and like going around or coming home and then going back out. So I always try to batch everything together, things that I know I need to be doing. Then like I said, to cut down on the expense of keeping my vehicle. I don't want to drive it unnecessarily. I drink mostly water, so I really don't drink a lot of, well, except for my Zevias, which I talked about last week as well. But I only drink water. So I do only have water and coffee at home. So I don't go out to buy coffees. I brew my own coffee at home, which I've kind of cut back on. Mostly I just have tea now. I really just drink mostly tea bags. Just plain black tea and nothing in it. I don't put any creamer, no honey, sugar, nothing. I take my coffee black and my tea black, and I don't put anything in it, which helps a lot. If you can train yourself to have your coffee without any kind of added items, it's going to save you a lot of money because creamer can get expensive. So I didn't like it at first, but the more I drank it, I started out drinking tea at work, and I didn't want the little creamers because they were kind of gross to me that they served at work. So that's kind of how I started. So it's sort of an acquired taste, like a lot of things. But I would say to try to train yourself to have your coffee and tea without any kind of milk, cream, sugar, honey, Splenda, whatever you put inside of it. Try to wean yourself off of it if you can. So I do have water and coffee as my beverages of choice at home without going out and purchasing them externally. All right, I really think that people underestimate how expensive variety can cost in their diets. So you might be like, Dana, this is kind of lame. That's boring. But I do repeat cheap meals often. I've talked about how I like to mono meal. I have no problems with mono mealing, which is where you just have one thing and that's it as for your meal. I like to just have like a bowl of riced cauliflower with like hemp seeds in it. And I'm fine with that. Like, I don't mind eating one thing. Or I just have, like I said, if there's a certain meal that I have that I think is inexpensive, I will eat it repeatedly and I don't have a problem with it. But if you have to have a lot of variety, like week to week or day to day, and you feel like every meal has to be different, that's going to get expensive because then you have to buy more ingredients for those meals. But if you're like, all right, I'm on a kick, I'm going to have like turkey and cheese sandwiches this week for lunch every single day, that will save you money. Like if you're just like that, you're going to buy that in bulk and then you can just eat that, like that's going to be less expensive than if you have to have something different every single lunch, every single breakfast. I have oatmeal every day for years. I have oatmeal. That's what I eat is oatmeal. And it's like, it's, inexpensive because I just know what I'm going to have and I just buy a big thing of oats and there you go. So yeah, be wary of having too much variety if you are trying to save money or live more frugally. I use things slower, like toothpaste, shampoo, soaps. I really try to stretch it out so I don't like gob on my toothpaste. I mean, I use toothpaste, but I try to be careful and like I do use it slowly if I can. I try not to be greedy with it, like huge things. Well, trying to train the kids to do this is another thing, but I don't want to have like, I don't want to waste shampoo or be dropping it into the bottom of the shower, because I'm slopping it around. So I try to be very careful and use my products as slowly as possible and like make sure so that I don't have to buy them as often. I like to keep gifts simple. I think that it goes a long way. Just a heartfelt note, handmade items, nothing too extravagant, especially for my children. Like, yes, we give them gifts, but I think that if you have young kids, okay, think about this. I'm being serious here. Okay, listen. If you have young kids, if you get into the habit of having big, giant, blowout birthday parties for them every time they have a birthday, what do you think they're going to expect every year moving forward for all the rest of their lives? Okay, not even 18 years. Like you're going to have 20-year-old kids who are going to expect you to give them these huge birthday gifts every year. So if you keep it simple, starting at the beginning, and you're just like, okay, for your birthday, you get this one gift and we go take a hike together. Like that's something that you could carry forward and it's going to be less expensive and they're not going to be as consumer driven people, hopefully, because you're setting the tone. So I like to keep birthdays as simple as possible, holidays as simple as possible. I made the mistake. This is how I know this. I made the mistake with my first child. The first few Christmases, we went way overboard. And then I was like, you know what? We can't keep, this is ridiculous. Because she didn't even open half the presents. It was like we had all these presents for Christmas and she got through like a quarter of them. And then like the rest of them, we were open a present like every day, like for the rest of January. And I was like, we just overspent. It was unbelievably ridiculous. And I learned, okay? So that's how is you learn your lesson. But anyway, so I do keep birthdays and holidays and gift giving simple. All right, and then I normalize saying it's not in the budget right now. I try to normalize that with the kids and myself, I guess, just to say we're not buying that right now. Because that way there's no big fits with the kids or with myself. I try not to have fits with myself because then it's just, we're not getting that right now. It's not in the budget. And the kids are so used to hearing me say that at this point, it's ridiculous. Like they just are like, oh, okay, it's not in the budget. Like they're like, all right. And then there's no fits. It's just fine. Move on. And then I say, if you want to save the money for that, especially most of the kids now have jobs. And I'm just like, well, when you save up the money for it, then you can get it from your work. Maybe you need to pick up some more shifts at work. And they know they only really get things on their birthday or for holidays. Otherwise, like we don't just randomly buy games or whatever it is that they might think that they want. If they need it, that's different. I'm not saying that. If it's something they need, like clothes or shoes. But if it's something that they just want, that we're not going to just purchase it just willy-nilly. Like they don't even ask anymore, which is fantastic. Okay, so those are some of the habits that I do to save our family money. I'd love to hear what you do to save your family money. Please share your list down below. And if you haven't yet, be sure to check out last week's video, which I will link somewhere up here, talking all about the things that I don't do. And if it's your first time here, be sure to subscribe. And wait. I got to get the stock. All right, so the stock pick for this week for those of you who are doing my investing challenge with me. So hold on a second. Let me get it. Okay, so my stock pick for this week is going to be Cognition Therapeutics, which is CGTX. And the current price for the share is $1.23. So I'm going to buy one share. As always, like I said, with this challenge, you don't have to buy what I'm buying. The goal is to help us all to learn. We're just investing $1 a week for a year in order to get more comfortable with investing and just looking at stocks. And also, we're purchasing, we're not selling, we're just purchasing and leaving it there for the year. And at the end of the year, we'll go back through. I'll do a video to share like what happened with the ones that I had purchased. You should probably do the same with yours. You can see whether they went up, whether they went down. If they went to zero, no big deal. We're just doing $1 a week, okay? So I'm doing this Cognition Therapeutics. Like I said, it's around $1.20-ish for one share for this week. And it's a neuroscience company that's developing drugs for people with dementia, which I have known people in my family and my life who have had dementia. So this is the company that I'm going to purchase for this week. I'm hoping that they're successful in their endeavors. So yeah, so if you don't want to purchase this one, you can leave a comment which one you're purchasing for the week. Again, I'm just here to help inspire you to invest. That way you can kind of get comfortable with it while you're trying to pay off debt or trying to build your savings. So when you are ready to actually really invest, you'll be like, okay, I kind of understand a little bit more like what's going on here because I've kind of done it for a year or however long and tracked it. So it's all about learning. Okay. All right, guys, that's it for this week. I'll talk to you in the next video. Like I said, be sure to subscribe. If it's your first time here, give me a thumbs up. If this video had any value for you, it helps the algorithm, helps to boost my channel and my videos. Okay. All right. Thank you guys. Bye.